from us. Love wants you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it. Dance.
Hey guys, what's crackin'? I am Kraken Nation, coach of the Boston Bisharps, and today we are back with another episode of the CSL. This is our post-com of the Week 10 battle against the BC Bastiodons. Again, I'm sorry about having to do a post-com. I am unfortunately on a training trip right now, which means that I have a hard time recording battles live. I've confitted post-coms a little easier just because you never know when, how long a live battle is going to be or when you're going to get interrupted or anything like that. But regardless, let's hop right into what this video is going to be about. We're just going to look into what was going through my head, the plays I was making, why I was making them, the thought process, how I was planning on winning at certain points in the game. Of course, I'm going to try not to reveal any spoilers for what the result of the battle ended up being. So right off the bat, if we look at the turn 1 matchup, just before turn 1 matchup, I was pretty happy not to see defensive Death Snore, as that was something that was going to cause my team a lot of grief, as I would have to break through it with Manaphy only, or Toxic with one of my 2 defensive Pokemon, so I was really excited not to see defensive Death Snore. I felt this was a team I prepped very well for, so I really wasn't all too worried about getting beat as far as prep went. But again, we are coming off a very tough loss last week, and so we are in a spot where I really got to turn this around. Alpha Juarez and the McCargo Tel Aviv are right on my tail, so we got to find what we can do, and we got to secure as big a win as possible. And again, we're gonna go through step by step, and I'm gonna try not to reveal anything too big. I'm just gonna put it on slow. Why not? I'll be pausing it a lot anyways. So I do decide to lead with Uxie because Uxie is able to essentially get perfect matchup against every single Pokemon on this team. There's not a single Pokemon on this team that threatens Uxie that much right off the bat. I guess Machamp with Knockoff or Mega Gyarados with Crunch, but I can always Toxic those Pokemon. I can get up Reflect. I can get up my Rocks. None of those Pokemon can even OHKO. I don't even know if Machamp can 2KO with the Knockoff, so I'm not too worried about that. And he does lead with Jolteon, and I am expecting a Shadow Ball here. Just because, that's Jolteon gets Shadow Ball. It hits a lot of my Psychic types super effectively, including Metacham. So I am expecting Shadow Ball. I'm just going to use this opportunity to get up my light screens because that Shadow Ball literally is not going to do any damage, and I can now really effectively get my screens up, wall this thing. So on this turn, he does reveal that he is in fact a Quick Feet Jolteon, and I probably could have calced that just to figure out what he was without him having to reveal his item through this. But it's really good to know that he's Quick Feet Jolteon because Quick Feet Jolteon is really actually quite hindered as far as offensive power goes. Jolteon does have a nice special attack stat, but 110 is very underwhelming in a lot of circumstances, and it does rely on items such as Life Orb or Choice Specs to do a lot of damage. And so what this meant as far as seeing Quick Feet right off the bat is that while I won't be able to outspeed with anything on my team, as I do have a max speed Aerodactyl. If you haven't watched a team builder, definitely go check that out. But I do have a max speed Aerodactyl in the wings, but now this Jolteon can now definitely outspeed. So while I know that I can no longer outspeed anything, nothing on my team has even a chance to outspeed, I also do know that this thing's power has massively reduced, and even Manaphy can take hits. Snorlax can sponge hits from this thing all day long. So I do end up clicking my rocks here. I do just want to secure getting my rocks up as soon as possible, and that's really going to be very beneficial on this team because it secures some KOs from Manaphy. I am running Pixie Plate Manaphy with Dazzling Gleam, which if this is a max HP Spadef or something, Assault Vest type Machamp, it actually does have a chance not to KO, and Stealth Rocks really helps my odds as far as that goes. It also makes it so that Gyarados and Togekiss can't keep getting free switches, and that ended up being very key later in the match as we found out. But I do just end up trying to get up my Reflect here. Actually, no, I click Toxic. Oh, geez, I really should research these battles more. But I do click Toxic as to try to whittle this opponent down. And from here, I'm honestly not too worried about anything this thing wants to go for. Because we saw it do literally no damage, so Snorlax is going to want to come out. Snorlax is the special wall of choice, and behind both a light screen and this is a Assault Vest Snorlax with a good deal of Spadef investment and max HP investment, this thing literally just does 6% damage. So I can basically just click a Heavy Slam here really easily, as Machamp is going to want to come on in, and this is basically where my defensive core starts to do its thing, because I am able to click Heavy Slam here, wear down this Machamp, as it is going to click Knockoff on this turn and try to go for try to get rid of my item. It does click Dynamic Punch, and I know it clicks Knockoff on the next turn actually. Just mixed up the order there. He clicks Dynamic Punch trying to get the KO on Snorlax, but as you can see, Dynamic Punch does literally no damage to Mega Love Disc here, and I am able to click Toxic, luckily, and I do not get confused on this turn. I actually only get confused once over the entire course of the battle, I believe. And there's now a timer on this Machamp, as it can no longer keep switching in. He does click Knock Off to get rid of the item, which is pretty big for him, but I fortunately do have Regenerator. And so here's where I make a pretty nice play that helps me secure this defensive core later on for the match, is I go for the Wish here, as he does switch into Jolteon, and this is kind of sets the tone for the next 10, 15 or so turns of the battle, because I'm able to effectively just click Wish here, and I'm not, luckily I don't get confused, and I'm able to go into Snorlax, who can easily sponge whatever attack this Jolteon wants to go for, which ends up being the Volt Switch, and then I can just heal on right back up. Honestly, Wish not super helpful in this situation, but it does help me preserve and not get whittled down, because this does end up being a battle of whose defensive core can whittle down the, or whose core can whittle down the defensive team a little bit better. So we're going to end up being able to force him to keep making switches, as obviously he wants to come into Machamp, because Machamp is really the only Pokemon on this team that can effectively deal with Snorlax, bar, of course, a boosted Gyarados. But we are able to get our Wish healing, and then I can just switch right on back into the Regener Alomola, have my health right back up, and it's really not too hard to wall this thing from here. It is getting worn down by the Toxic and the Hazards, and I am able to click a Protect here, which ends up being basically useless because he switches right out into Jolteon, and I get confused, but I do click Protect on the next turn. Oh, I lied. I am stupid. Wow, I really should. I know I ended up clicking Protect at one point. I was mixing up the turns of the battle. I didn't get enough sleep last night or something. But he does click Thunderbolt here, and that does, again, no damage, and he's getting really effectively worn out. I do click Heavy Slam again here, just because I'm pretty safe. I can pretty safely really wear down this Machamp and secure a KO on it with Heavy Slam plus Toxic damage. And then at this point, Jolteon wants to come in, or not Jolteon, sorry. Gyarados wants to come in and set up try to set up on me, or at least try to do some damage. But I do go into Alomola, as he does click Crunch on turn 1, and he does get the defense drop, which is kind of unfortunate. Which you can end up seeing. He does get the defense drop here. So yeah, I do know what's going on in this battle. I'm just mixing up these really repetitive turns. But there were a few turns of kind of this defensive core kind of just walling his offense. And as soon as Machamp went down, he no longer really had a way to deal with the physically defensive side of my, or sorry, the special defensive side of my core anymore, because this is his best physical Pokemon. And I do end up just clicking a Toxic here that misses, but it did not matter because I just click Protect here actually to try to secure a KO when I switch out. So this Jolteon tries to click Volt Switch. I do click Protect here. This is the turn I was thinking of because he's now not able to switch out, and I can honestly just switch out into Snorlax here and sponge whatever hit he wants to go for. The defensive core effectively whittled down two offensive Pokemon. The defensive core effectively whittled down two Pokemon without a whole lot of work. As my Gyarados does want to come back in, but he does pull an aggressive double into Tangela on my predicted switch. That's a good play by him. I do go into Alomola here, and I do just click Toxic because I'm not really fearing anything this thing wants to go for. I can take Giga Drains, but he does click Knock Off. I could probably expect him to switch or revealing that this is his only attack move. I doubt it. Honestly, even Leech Seed would have been a better play there. But I am able to get the Toxic off, which isn't super helpful on a Pokemon with Regenerator, but does force him to keep switching this thing out because otherwise it's going to become stalled out. And I do just click Protect, expecting the Leech Seed or something, and just get another turn of Toxic damage, but he reveals the Sleep Powder, which means I will need to find something for Sleep Fodder, and I do end up deciding that Uxie is going to be the Sleep Fodder of choice as I go into Uxie here. However, he does pull an aggressive double and brings Gyarados back out, who is really getting weakened now at this point in the battle. Like, he keeps switching Gyarados in and then switching him back out, and that's not a good call because Gyarados isn't going to be able to recover later on in the battle. I don't know if he has Healing Wish Latias in the back at this point, but he does keep switching Gyarados in and out, and I do just bring an Alomola basically for free every single time he goes into Gyarados, so like it's honestly just not that scary. I am just able to click a basically Toxic here just because why not? Like, Toxic is a very safe move at this point in the game, and I am able to just pull the exact same play that I keep pulling, which is just protecting and forcing him to take extra passive damage in the form of the burn on Jolteon or Toxic in this case on Tangela. He does cool for the Sleep Powder again, and I do go back into Uxie to try to sponge that Sleep Powder. However, he clicks Knock Off here. I'm expecting that switch, and I do lose my Light Clay. It doesn't end up being the biggest deal, fortunately for me, because at this point in the match, I am able to just click Light Screen. I click Reflect, and then I think I do click Light Screen here, because he does go for Magic Coat, expecting the Toxic probably, which was a good play by him, but ultimately didn't work out because I just really wanted to get my screens up. I knew I could switch into Manaphy here because at this point in the game, Manaphy is really just able to switch in and on anything Latias wants to go for. If it goes for its strongest attack, is going to end up being Draco, and that's not really going to do much the second time around to Latias behind screens. Sorry, Manaphy. So I can really just bring in Manaphy for free, which was what I ended up doing on his switch into Togekiss. Togekiss at this point has only revealed that it in fact has Air Slash, also has no form of recovery. So I'm expecting at this point that it's either some kind of choice item. That's really all I'm expecting, or it's some berry, like Yak Berry is what I was kind of fearing. But I also am in a range where I can just set up a Tail Glow and then win the game from here, which is what I proceed to do. I just click Tail Glow, and he gets a little worried here, but I am just able to click Ice Beam, and he doesn't force to get an Air Slash miss, which I don't know how much it ended up mattering in the end game. If he had gotten an Air Slash miss and then a flinch, the game might have gone a little differently as far as KO count went, but it wouldn't have mattered in the end result of the game. As I am able to just click Ice Beam, and the game, Manaphy's perfect coverage is Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, Surf. So I am able to just essentially just click the proper coverage move. I do lose my screens because he knocked off my Light Clay early in the battle, but Manaphy is able to just kind of do its thing. What really this battle came down to was Manaphy was waiting to bring out Manaphy at the right moment, and using my defensive core to whittle down his best answers. I believe he told me he was a Payapa Berry Machamp, which was to take Psychics, which was an interesting play, but I didn't end up bringing Psychic. I ended up bringing a little different coverage. And it ended up being perfect coverage for this battle because I had nothing to hit Quillfish with Manaphy, which is another Pokemon that he didn't end up bringing, thankfully. I had Aerodactyl with Defog to prevent the spike stacking, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I just didn't have anything to hit it with Manaphy, and that would have really put a limit on what Manaphy was capable of in this battle. Fortunately, I was able to knock out the Jolteon, and also the Machamp, honestly. I was fearing the Assault Vest, whittle them down to a point where they could no longer put up a fight, and then bring in Manaphy after Uxie had gotten up screens. It was a pretty 1-2 battle, you know, like I felt like I just considered there were really two stages to the battle, which was whittling down the Pokemon with my defensive core and then bringing in Manaphy to sweep. It was really straightforward, definitely well played to BC, but it is actually my first 6-0 in CSL history, which is pretty big. It's pretty exciting, and it does put me in a really good spot as far as staying ahead of the rest of the conference, because now I have to get a pretty big loss, and Alpha would have to also get a pretty big win. So hopefully I'll be able to prevent that from happening, but I would have to get a big loss, and he'd have to get a big win in the exact same week at this point for him to pass me. Of course, nothing is set in stone, and I'm still not guaranteed playoffs, honestly, so it's a little scary, but I am pretty sure I'll at least be able to get it. The goal is to get the semifinals by at this point. I'm really fighting for it. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Always really appreciated. Next week we take on the New Jersey Fulbebe, coached by Neferdum. It's our rematch, divisional rematch against them, and should be a hype battle. We did win last time, but it was a very tough fought battle indeed, and I am very nervous. I've already started team prep, as at this point every win counts, so I'm team prepping all in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Kraken Nation out. I'm going to go into Quag here. It seems like he knows everything I'm going to do. But we are able to just do that.